Corruption, big threat of development. Corruption is the abuse of power for personal gain. It occurs when individuals in positions of authority, such as government officials, business leaders, or public servants, exploit their roles to benefit themselves, often at the expense of others. Common forms include bribery, embezzlement, nepotism, and favoritism. Corruption undermines trust, weakens institutions, and hinders economic and social development. Money is often seen as the root cause of corruption in developing countries because of the influence it holds in shaping social, political, and economic systems. Below are several ways in which money contributes to corruption. 1. Poverty and economic inequality. In many developing countries, a significant portion of the population lives in poverty. This creates desperation, which can drive people to accept or offer bribes to meet basic needs. Economic inequality exacerbates this issue by concentrating wealth and power in the hands of a few, who may exploit their position for personal gain. 2. Weak institutions. Many developing countries lack strong, transparent, and accountable institutions to prevent and penalize corruption. Limited resources often mean government officials are poorly paid, increasing the temptation to use their positions to extract bribes. 3. Lack of checks and balances. Inadequate legal frameworks and weak enforcement of anti-corruption laws allow money to unduly influence decision-making. Corrupt officials and businesses often operate with impunity because the judiciary, law enforcement, or regulatory agencies are compromised. 4. Political corruption. Elections in developing countries are frequently expensive. Politicians may rely on illicit funds or financial backers, creating a system where they must repay favors once in power. This leads to practices like embezzlement of public funds, awarding inflated contracts to cronies, or diverting money from development programs. 5. Cultural and social norms. In some societies, giving and receiving favors in the form of money or gifts is deeply ingrained, blurring the line between customary practices and corruption. Money becomes a shortcut to bypass bureaucratic red tape, perpetuating a cycle of bribery. 6. Foreign influence and global factors. Multinational corporations or foreign investors may offer bribes to secure contracts or gain access to natural resources, fueling corruption at higher levels of government. The lack of global regulation allows illicit financial flows from developing countries, draining resources that could otherwise be used for development. 7. Weak economic opportunities. Limited job opportunities and an underdeveloped private sector can push individuals into corrupt practices to secure livelihoods or advancement. Entrepreneurs may resort to bribing officials to bypass cumbersome regulations, further embedding corruption in the system. Breaking the cycle. While money plays a central role, it's important to recognize that corruption is a complex issue influenced by governance, cultural, and societal factors. Solutions include strengthening institutions and improving transparency, ensuring fair wages for public officials, enforcing strict anti-corruption laws and empowering watchdog organizations, promoting civic education and public accountability, encouraging international cooperation to curb illicit financial flows. Ultimately, while money facilitates corruption, it is the systemic weaknesses and lack of enforcement mechanisms that allow it to thrive. Addressing these foundational issues is key to reducing corruption.